If you are planning to buy land in Abuja, either individual land or an estate plot, this video is going to save you millions of naira. My name is Samuel Amucham. I'm the MD CEO of Amucham Properties and Homes Limited. Over the years, a lot of people bought land in Abuja, and after several years, nothing to show for it. There's no land anywhere. And this happens as a result of lack of knowledge by the person buying the land. Now, Abuja real estate is very, very dynamic and different from other real estates in different parts of Nigeria like Lagos, Harcourt, Asaba. Abuja is where you have the president who is in charge of anything that has to do with land through the FCT minister. In other states, you have to deal with the governor, or mostly the governor, or you deal with families. Here in Abuja, you have everything to deal with the minister of FCT. So it's paramount you pay rapt attention on how you can safeguard your money and not getting scammed in Abuja. Now, one of the major strategy of how people are being scammed in Abuja real estate. This is an RFO document for one of our properties in Nasarawa State. Now, somebody presents this document to you, and then now this one is for an estate. Someone presents this to you for an individual land, and you take you to the land, present this to you, and then you go to the government. You go to either AGs or Nasarawa Land Authority to go and check if the document is actually legit. And it's confirmed that the document is actually legit. Now, this also happens for both real estate and individual land. This is the most common strategy of how people are being scammed in Abuja. You should note that this video is an exposure to how some of these people scam people of their money. And then you should take this very, very seriously. It's very tactical, and then you might not be able to figure it out unless you are into the real estate industry. In fact, sometimes your lawyer might not be able to factor this out. This video is very, very, very important if you wish to save money in Abuja real estate. So how this works is that they give you this document, right? And then you take this document to the appropriate authority. In Abuja, you go to AGs. In Nasarawa State, you go to Najis. Now, when you go to these people, for Najis, you pay them 7,000. Then they will do a report of the property and then hand it over to you. If there's trouble, they will write there's problem. If there's no problem, they will write no problem. If it's for AGs, you will see it. You see the report. If there's a caveat, they will write caveat. If there's no caveat, they will write no caveat. And then they will give you a report, no problem. Now, it doesn't end there. Now, they take you to the land, and then you end up buying because you've gone to check the land. You've gone to check the paper and it's correct, and then they take you to the land. This is how majority of the real estate scam happens in Abuja. That land they take you to might not be their land. Now, if it's a scam, it is confirmed that it's a scam. It is not their land, right? They take you to another person's land that is in a good location, sweet place, somewhere that when you see it, you like it. And then you end up paying them money. After you've paid them money, if it is an individual land, individual land is those lands that are maybe one plot of land, 1,000 square meter, 500 square meter. After you finish paying and then you want to start construction and then you move to site, somebody comes to you and tells you, oh, what are you doing on my land? This is my land. Now, what actually happened is that document that was presented to you was actually either cloned, they took another document of another land and sold to you another land. I don't know whether I'm shouting or I don't know whether this is being as explanatory as possible. So let me take it in a more simpler way. Now, you want to buy a land, they advertise a land, right? And then you see the advert and then you like the land, either for a real estate company or for an individual plot. Now, they show you the land, you like the location. This actually happened to one of my friend in Enugu State. Now, they take you to the land and then you like the place. And then you ask them for the documents. They show you the document, like this one you're seeing. Now, you take the document to the appropriate authorities, AGs, Abuja Geographical Information, AGs, Nasarawa State Land Information stuff. You go there and then you give them the document and then they do a search. They will just give you the report. You see the report on this screen. Now, you then end up feeling that, okay, everything is fine. I've gone to the land, it's a fine place. I've seen the document, they say it's okay. And then you pay. Your money is gone. Right? When you are actually set out to take possession of that land, that is when you see trouble. Be it an individual land, be it an estate land. Now, let me explain the individual land. The individual land, you want to fence to secure your land. Immediately you drop sand on that plot. Somebody comes and tells you, what are you doing on my land? Right? Now, is either that document was cloned, because you are a novice, you don't know how to do the appropriate searches, which I'm going to be sharing to you at the course of this training, or they took another document that is genuine and then sold another land to you that is not belonging to that document. The land they sold to you might even have a building on it already. Now, if it's for an estate, when it's time for you to get allocation, is a problem, because the land does not belong to them. They will start turning you up and down, telling you stories and upon stories, and at the end of the day, you will not be able to have allocation. They start making trouble. They will not tell you, oh, sorry, that place had issue, let's reallocate you to another location. Most times, that grammar is actually not correct. You were only deceived, you were scammed, and it might be that the place you bought is more expensive than where they are taking you to. That is if they are even willing to take you to any place. So this is one among several ways that you can be scammed in Abuja real estate. Right now, another format of scamming you in Abuja real estate is a real estate company is buying land from somebody, and that person, the real estate company, has not finished paying the owner of the land, right? And then this land is being sold to you, you buy, and at the end of the day, maybe the arrangement they have is for the person to pay for the land in 12 months before you have full ownership of that property. And then the person refuses to pay to complete the payment of that land. Maybe, let's say for instance, the land is 100 million, and then the person pays 20 million. They have an agreement, an MOU, and the person is paying. And then after the set deadline, the person finished paying for that land. The owner of the land revokes the land. Now, on the MOU, it's stated on how they will settle their dispute. Most times, they might give the owner of that, the person buying the land, exactly what he had paid for. So let's say, for instance, he's buying 3 hectares of land, which is about 30,000 square meters, and he's able to pay 20 million naira, and the land is worth 200 million naira or 300 million naira. A percentage of the money he has been paid will be given to him. So there is possibility that only the people that maybe were first to pay, or the people that make trouble with the company, are the people that the company will allocate that size that they were able to buy. Now, some real estate company must have oversubscribed that property and refused to pay this person, and this person has revoked that land. So it means that you cannot have access to that land because this guy has not fully owned that land. So at the end of the day, they might demarcate the land, and then they give him the plot he has paid for, and then maybe you are not lucky to have a portion of that small one that has been paid for. Now, if you tell them to allocate you, problem. If you tell them to show you your land, problem. If you tell them you want to start building, problem. These are the common real estate scams that real estate companies exhibit. Now, some real estate companies, third one, these are things that you're meant to pay millions of naira for. But as a real estate company that is true to its words, that want to save people from their hard-earned money, you should be able to understand these logics, these strategies of how real estate scams happen, so that you can save your money. The third strategy that is being used to scam people in real estate is that this real estate company has this property, right? And then they use this property to sell to over 1,000 people. Just one property, they sell to over 1,000 people. And meanwhile, this property has maybe it's just 1 hectare, 10,000 square meter, or it's 5 hectares, 50,000 square meter, and they've oversubscribed the estate, right? So now, if it is time for you to get allocation, problem, because the estate has been oversubscribed. They have sold more than what they have. That's the English. They have sold more than what they have. At the end of the day, the resolution usually falls under let them reallocate you to another location. Most times, it's usually not favorable to you as the buyer. So, how do you solve these problems? How do you solve this problem? I have given you the solution. I am now about to review the solutions to you. Number one, how you resolve that is when you want to buy a land from either a real estate company or an individual land, and they give you the documents and then they take you to the land. Now, when they give you the document of that land, first thing you should do, the first thing you must do if you don't have trust for that company, because most times real estate is still done with trust, right? If you don't have trust for that company, the first thing you should do, get a surveyor. The first thing you should do when you want to buy a land, after you've seen the land, the first thing you should do is to get a surveyor, a registered surveyor to be precise. Get the surveyor to go to the land and pick the coordinate of that land, right? If you ask them, they might give you. That is if the land is genuine. If it's not genuine, they will not give you. They will start telling you stories. Now, get the coordinate of the land, right? And then confirm if that coordinate tallies with the paper that was given to you. So if you want to buy this land now from us, we are making reference to ourselves. You cannot preach what you don't have. If you want to buy this land from us, take these documents to the appropriate authority. Before you go to the appropriate authority, collect the coordinate. Take your surveyor or tell us to give you the coordinates. Let your surveyor go and pick the coordinates. And let your surveyor map out that coordinate to see if it tallies with this document. If it does not tally, don't buy. We are giving you instances with our own company. So if you are buying an individual land, you're buying an estate land, the most important person to you first is a surveyor, not your lawyer. The first most important person to you is your surveyor. Let him pick the coordinates. Find out if that coordinate matches with the document. I've repeated this several times because that is the most important thing. I'm drawing your ear now. I'm telling you how this is being done. Don't go and say, I have one brother, I trust him. This is the most important thing you need to do. If you must buy a land, you need a registered surveyor. Surveyor that knows what he's doing, not any quack surveyor. This surveyor picks the coordinates, confirm that it tallies with the document, right? When this one is done, that is the first step. That is the first step. Now, a lawyer comes in. A real estate lawyer, I'm shouting now. You can see that I'm shouting. Get a real estate lawyer or a lawyer that understands real estate. Now, the lawyer will now do the legal part of the work. First, the lawyer will confirm this person that is selling this land to me, is he the real owner? That's the job of the lawyer. The surveyor wants to confirm if the claimed land is actually where it is, if it tallies with the document. Now, the lawyer wants to confirm this guy that wants to sell this land to me, does he have the right to sell the land to me? This is what your lawyer will do. Now, let me give you a clear instance. Few weeks ago, there's a property we wanted to buy, just a small property. Now, before I bought the property, I sent the document to my lawyer. My lawyer went to the appropriate authority. He went to Buhari Area Council to go and confirm if that document is actually valid. It's a Buhari Area Council land. He went and the document was actually valid. Everything was correct. We invited the seller to come to the office. When he came to the office to bring the deed of assignment of that property, we discovered that the deed of assignment was in his son's name. Listen to me now. I am telling you things that you're supposed to pay millions of naira for. In clear terms, my lawyer now told him that this document is not carrying your name. Where is the document that connects you and the person that the name is on this document? Listen now. The document is in his son's name. The law does not work with emotions. The law works with facts. The law works with what? Facts. The law does not work with emotions. Listen to this video very well. I'm drawing your ear. I don't know who you are, whether if you like be the president of this country. This is my field. I am well grounded in real estate. I have 2 lawyers in my company. It is not by mistake. It is purposely done. Now, the man has said that he bought the property in his son's name. My lawyer asked him, where is the document that transfers, because you are the one coming to sell this property to us now. Where is the document that gives you the right from your son? Imagine his son. Where is the document that gives you the right to sell your son's property? Because the property belongs to his son. So that you bought the property for your son does not give you the right to sell the property. I don't know if I'm shouting. I don't know if it's entering your head. Because some of you just buy land without following due process. And after the end of the day, you start crying. I'm telling you how not to cry now. I do real estate. I have properties in Abuja. I have in Nasarawa. So listen to me. So my lawyer now told him, sir, we cannot give you money if your son does not authorize you to sell that property. The man got angry and wanted to leave. And this property was being sold under distress. That's for you to see how these things work out. This man was distressingly in need of money, and that was why the property was very cheap. The man got flared up. He said, how can we be asking him something he bought for his son? How can we be asking blah, 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 blah. My lawyer now said, okay, if you want to sell this property, you calm down. You calm down and listen to me. Now, he went out and his brother was seated here in my office. And my lawyer now told the brother that if you don't want to do what we tell you to do, you go. The brother now asked, what do we do at this point? So the lawyer now told him, you need to call your son to write an authorization letter authorizing you to sell that property. So the man called his son and told him that he wants to sell that property because they have urgent need for money. He now told his son they will send him a template of the kind of letter he will write. Probably I'll put the screenshot so you see, and then I'll cover the names. So the son now sent that letter. The man now had the authority. In fact, our lawyer demanded for his picture, his means of identification, his signature, and write down this thing is inside that agreement. What does this tell you? It means that the document is valid. The property, I've gone to see it, it is where it is. It means that that son can come tomorrow and say that he did not give his father the right to sell that property. If my lawyer had not asked the son to authorize his father selling, because the law does not work with emotions. The law works with, Oga, somebody sold property belonging to another person to you. The name on the document is not the person that signed, and the guy has won the case. He has gotten back his property. Do you understand now? The law does not work with emotions. So when you are buying properties, as you are thinking about other things, be thinking about if we peradventure go to court. Don't say, oh no, nothing will take us to go court. Oga, something will take it to court. So that was how we were able to seal that deal. Now, find out if the person that wants to sell that property to you has the right to sell that property to you. Some people want to sell the property of their late brother and they have a wife. The late brother had a wife, had a child. Maybe he willed that properties to his child. And after a while, there will be legal battles. So if you are confirming whether the title of the property is original, remember now you're doing two confirmation. You are confirming whether the title of the property is original. Also confirm if the person selling to you has the right to sell to you. This one is as important as confirming whether the document is legit. If you no wan go court, I have given you two things you must do. You must do these two things if you don't want to cry tomorrow. I mentioned that oversubscription. Some real estate companies oversubscribe. Right? Now, how you can actually do this is by possibly telling the real estate company that I want instant allocation after payment. Now, you can also confirm from their layout to know how many units has been sold. And then you can also confirm the plots that will be given to you. If, for instance, you're making outright payments, you can tell them, I will pay the money now. I want you guys to go and allocate me now. Right? Or you can tell them to show you their layout. Most real estate companies, they tick it. They will tick the layouts that has been sold out. Right? There are some other background checks that you can actually do to ascertain that the estate is not oversubscribed. Hold them by an agreement that immediately I finish my payment, I want an allocation on the land I am buying. Else, I want full refund. You can give real estate companies terms and conditions. The same way they are giving you terms and conditions. If you are not ready to go by it, you go to another company to go and buy. So I believe I've been able to give you the most common ways people are being scammed. There are a lot of them. I'll be doing them in another video. Right? This video is already long. If you value your money, I believe even 1 hour video should not be too much for you to watch, for you to save your money. Right? If you are watching this video on Instagram, kindly go to our YouTube channel and watch the full video. Unless if you don't want to ever invest in Abuja, unless these things are common anywhere in Nigeria. Right? If you are looking to buy land, that all of these things that I've said is available, you can hit us up via our phone numbers, via our WhatsApp, via our call lines, and we are ready to avail you with all of these documents and all of these things. We are ready to allow you bring your lawyers, your surveyors to come and do what? To come and experiment all of these things we've said. We have land in Karishi. If you are looking to buy land, to build, to live, we have properties like that in Abuja. My name remains Samuel Amucham. I I am the MD CEO of Amuchan Properties and Homes Limited, the real estate companies that has your interest at heart, most importantly, more than anything in this world. I want to see you on the inside. We'll see you next time.